Okay, we are live. We're having a live stream chat with Kendra from Consume the Goodness tonight. How you doing, Kendra?
Good. I hope I. Oh, there it goes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait. Mute. Got it.
There you go. Yeah, heard your feedback for a second, but we're good now. So.
And on the other screen. Yep, we're good. Sorry.
Cool. I don't know if everyone can sort of let us know how the volume or the audio is. You were cutting out for me a little bit there, Kendra, so I don't know.
No.
Yeah, may have just been a glitch. My computer's been pretty slow tonight for some reason too, even though I restarted it. But
yikes.
Anyways, you're good for now. So we'll just keep rolling with it. You say we've got quite a few people here with us already tonight. We can go through sort of who's in the house. Carrie's in over on my channel. Brenda. Who else? We've got Lynn. Lynn's here. Pete's in both live streams because Pete is always everywhere. I don't know how he does it, but thank you, Pete, for being on both the live streams. Paul and Jason are here. It's good to see you guys.
Oh, I'm still so lost. Okay, so anybody who's chatting on mine, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I am confused.
Yeah, no, I can see who's chatting on your. Yeah, I can see who's chatting on yours. There's a little symbol on the
little like chain thing.
Yeah. So
that means it's on mine.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah. excuse us, everyone. We're sort of getting Kendra's getting the hang of co-streaming on StreamYard here tonight. So
yes, this is my first time. Hi, mommy. Aw.
Yeah, bear with us here, and we'll let everyone sort of come in and say hi. We've got Kendra's here, Jesse is here as well. Deb and OJ from Coffee Walks and Whatever, they're here as well. Nora, the Stock Explorer, is here. Kristen, just trying to make sure we don't miss anyone here.
I click them, I guess.
No,
it doesn't do anything.
It shouldn't. It probably won't bring them up. But
got it.
I'll make sure to watch for anyone coming in. We've got So Terry in the house. A lot of Tuber Chat people in the house tonight, as well as the keto sort of lifestyle community is here. We've got Low Carb Spin here.
That's exciting. Hi.
And that's your mother,
yes.
Diana. Yeah, welcome to the live stream tonight.
Yay!
Just making sure we don't miss anyone. Everyone's saying hi to each other here, so that's good.
Woo.
Okay, we're down to the bottom. For anyone in my live stream, if you type #Thrive, it'll drop your channel link, and then yours, you can let them know what to type in yours, Chris or Kendra.
Yeah, so anybody in mine, if you do !he who, all one thing, HEEHOO, and then that will drop your link. And cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
I feel so nervous.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, because we'll leave Kendra's channel link in the description of the video as well. I definitely suggest everyone connects with Kendra. We have sort of the same, not necessarily the same kind of content. But we have the sort of same. I think we have the same goals in mind, kind of thing overall. So. Okay, I think we're caught up. We've got someone else. One more person came in here. Crafty Witch 232 is here.
Hi.
Thank you. Oh, it's #Thrive, Carrie. the exclamation point is over on Kendra's. So. Oh, what's Brenda saying? I've seen so many of my quilting friends in here. Yes, yeah, the community is far and wide for sure.
That's cool.
So, what is Kristen saying? Why you're so nervous? You always do great.
I don't know. I guess it's like a lot of new people, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm on someone else's.
Well, we're doing this together, right? Like it's so that we can sort of spread to a wider audience, right? We both hang out in each other's live streams, but at least this way we're communicating with both communities at the same time, basically.
Yes.
So why don't we get down to, if anyone's seen the sort of title for this live stream. I don't know, Kendra, if you had sort of come up with this sort of basic idea of what we could talk about. So I don't know if you want to start with what your thoughts are on this sure. idea of, whether it's worth the cost.
So the thing that I had in my head, or like different connections being made, it was just that like how we pay literally with money for things, but then we also pay for them in other ways, that we could be paying for something like mentally or physically. And then, okay, so just anybody who's been on my channel or anything, you guys know pretty well that I'm really big on like illustrating an idea, or, so I'm so sorry, I'm rambling, I'm nervous. So if I were to like write a skit about this, this will be easier for me. I would probably have it where I'm like, I imagine someone grocery shopping, except instead of, what it actually says on the can or the box or whatever, it would be maybe picking up like fatigue and inflammation, diabetes, like that is what you're putting into your cart. So the box on it says like all the items in the grocery store, not all of them, but most on the shelves. Instead of it saying what food it is saying some type of health problem, some type of medical problem. I feel like that's a pretty good illustration of what I meant with this, because we are paying for it with our money, and then we are paying for it with our health. So it's like we truly are paying for things that hurt us, like it would seriously be like trading money for, walking through a market, like, oh yeah, I'll take that, heart problem, and I'll take that joint pain, and we're like paying for it with our money. So that is kind of the idea where I was going. And something else I just thought of is that it actually does kind of make sense, because sometimes we do pay for things that maybe we shouldn't. We spend our money on it when we're like, can't really afford this, but sometimes we go ahead and buy it anyway when we shouldn't. And I guess that could kind of be the case as well, where we could be on a really good, healthy eating track and then eat something that we know we shouldn't. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty much where that's what the thought was in my head.
Right. And I think that's, and that's what I gathered from our conversation before the live stream. And I think, I have thought of this kind of idea about, paying for everything we do. It can sort of be applied to almost anything in life. Like, yes, the a really obvious one is the whole, mortgaging our future health for like one day of happiness now. Because that's really what it comes down to. Like, we have to look at it. Okay, well, if today I want to, just eat whatever I want to eat, whether it's real food or not, all you're really doing is paying with it with future health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it can't really, you have to always be thinking about that concept. Like I look at it too, like even things like being a YouTuber, creating content, it's fun, and at first there really isn't that much of a cost, but as you grow as a creator and as you spend more time with it, it can, maybe the cost is less time with your family, Or maybe the time, maybe another cost is the stress of, trying to make a successful go at something like this. So I definitely think it's a concept that can be applied to any part of life. And I think it's important that we're always thinking about, what that cost is, and is it worth it?
This can connect to so many different things, because even if you think about if something goes wrong with your house, or if something goes wrong with your car, and it's like, I'm just going to do the cheap version, like basically just putting a Band-Aid on it. Or if there's, like, let's say you have water damage and there's mold, and then just covering it up, like not actually taking care of the thing, but doing these like shortcuts, I guess. And I feel like that can also be a connection, because you pay for it. Like if you don't actually fix it, it's going to the problem will still be there. It'll just be covered up a little bit, and you're going to pay for it, because before you know it, everyone in the house is going to be sick because of black mold, or your car is going to be way worse than it would have been if you would have just taken care of it properly the first time. You know what I'm saying? And then also maintaining it. So with the market or grocery store analogy, staying consistent, like always picking up the better things, the things that aren't going to give you the inflammation and fatigue and brain fog and just the ridiculous amount of medical problems that come with eating so much of the food that's on the shelves. It has to be a maintained thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And, can you imagine like using that supermarket sort of example here? Like this just sort of came to me. Can you imagine if that's the way that things were labeled?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
that would be wrong.
Yeah. So like if you were to pick up a box of Lucky Charms, and it said, the benefits were, type 2 diabetes and inflammation and all this. And, like in truth, instead of saying, oh, Lucky Charms is part of a healthy breakfast and all this,
part of this complete breakfast.
Now.
That's always what it says in the commercials.
Yeah. So, I have seen, memes that sort of relate to that, about how real honest labels, like Matt and Mouse are saying here, honest labels.
Yeah.
It would just be a bizarre world if that's what it actually was, right? So.
It'd be a big eye opener. It's so funny that you said that, because a few nights ago while we were we talk about this type of stuff all the time, because it's so irritating, because so many people, like, I didn't know the things that I know now. I haven't always known these things about food, and then learning what ingredients actually are and what they do in our bodies. I didn't know all this stuff before. So, and most people don't. And it is just so irritating that the stuff that's on there, it's like great source of protein, great source of iron. And then people look at these things. I mean, even the keto stuff, it's like keto friendly, but when you look at the ingredients, it's terrible. But we were talking about this because I have heard quite a few people, especially when our kids were a lot younger, where it's like, oh, it's fine. They're kids. Just let them have the candy. Let them have the whatever. They're kids, just let them be kids. And then we were talking about that, like, if these things, if the food and cereal, which is actually the example that we used, if it actually listed all the problems that would happen, would you actually, at that point, then would you be fine giving that to your kids, being like, oh yeah, they're just kids. Let them have the hard time focusing in school, and let them have all these medical problems that people like really never had. And now kids have them at such young ages, which is just, it's so sad. But yeah, I think it would blow people away, because a lot of times we eat things that we think this is healthy. I used to. That's how I learned when I became certified to be the coach that I am, that this stuff is healthy. These whole grains and these beans and all these fruits and this type of yogurt and everything low fat, and trim the fat off of everything that you eat. I thought that was healthy. Oh my gosh, I was so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the one of the problems is then, and people, that's the thing too, though, is that parents, like people and parents really, you can't necessarily blame them for this. Like because this is more of an issue that should be blamed on the people that know better, like
I agree.
the people that are making the rules and the food companies and all this, like, because they're the ones that have sold this notion that, they're kids, that, they should be able to eat anything they want, and I'm not super, not going to be someone who wants to come across as super strict about something like that either. But you're right. Some of the conditions that we're seeing in children these days at earlier ages it's just scary. I think ultimately, hopefully things are starting to change. I don't know though. I don't know if it's too late, but
time will tell. And I know a lot of people
like Henry's
don't
saying,
change.
or sorry, Henry's saying they buy local organic foods. It costs more, but I feel better. So
I think it's worth it. Like, you're investing in your health, and in the long run, I guess the way that we look at it is it really costing more? Because you're usually the stuff that's really bad for us is cheaper usually, but when you buy the good stuff, you actually, at least in our experience, I don't know if you have found this too, that you don't need as much of it because your body is actually getting what it truly needs. So you don't need really that much to get the nutrients that you need and to feel satisfied and all that kind of stuff. But also, I don't know where people are like insurance wise, but the amount of money that is spent going to the doctor. I mean, every time you go, they're like, okay, I want to see you back in 3 months. Want to see you back in 3 months. Want to see you back in 3 months, 6 weeks, whatever. And if you have a co-payment, every time you go, you're paying for that, or possibly just, years of it building up. And then all of a sudden you're paying for it in a more devastating way. Like how my mom is, she is only 60 and she's been laying in a nursing home for the past 4 years because she had a bunch of strokes. So I think it's worth it to pay the extra, for that.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Like that's the old saying, you can choose to focus on your health now or be forced to focus on your sickness later.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that's sort of the reality of life these days. So let's see, got some more comments. I wish we had honest labels like that and most stuff wouldn't be bought then.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then the people putting it out there, they wouldn't be making all them. I mean, it's all so connected. All of it, the only word that comes to my mind ever is evil. It's just evil. Like they know it's crap because they know it's going to keep people going to the doctor and needing prescription medications, so they're all just like benefiting and living financially great off of our suffering. It seems so evil.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. I think ultimately it is starting to be more evident to people. Like they're seeing how that's working. So, with Paul and Jason, we feel a lot better eating less and less carbs. Sugar is still in our lives, but in moderation. And again, that's, and that's the thing is, if you can manage moderation, then, I wish I could for sure.
I know. It's just one of those sensitive things. To everything. I really can't.
Yeah, I hear you. What else we have here? Lots of sickness, allergies, and medications have put my body through the ringer. I've been on cleansing journeys with ingredients. Yeah. Unfortunately, these days you really do have to always look at ingredients. And,
Yes.
the one thing that I was thinking about today, because one sort of example that I can give you is that at one point, we don't really have it here, but Paul Newman has their own sort of line of salad dressings kind of thing. And they used to use olive oil in their salad dressings. But apparently now they don't. Apparently now they use seed oils. So
that's crazy.
If you were used to buying that product because it had quality ingredients in it, things change. Companies change, and they're not going to come out and say, "Hey, we're going to charge you the same amount of money for this product, but it's going to have inferior ingredients in it." Yep. So even if you have a preferred product that is, one day it was good quality ingredients, doesn't mean the next time you go to look at it, it may have changed. So you almost have to look at ingredients.
Yes.
Every single time you buy something.
I think I mentioned this channel last time we were live. I don't remember, but it's Bobby something. I know if you
Bobby
search with like Bobby approved.
Yeah, Bobby Flay, or not Bobby Flay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, where he like goes to the grocery store and actually points out the ingredients. When my husband and I started watching that channel a couple of years ago, that's when, because before we used to do the the low carb tortillas and low carb whatever and all the stuff that said keto on it. We thought it was good. And then we started watching that guy's videos and we were like, oh my gosh, because he actually explains what the ingredients are and what it does. Like this word, this is what it is. This is what it does. This is what it does to your gut. This is what it does to your brain. All these, that's when our low carb, keto, whatever version of low carb you want to call it, we're kind of a mix in this house. It got way cleaner after that, because once it's just hard when it's like, I'm not going to put that in my kid's body. I don't want that in my body. Once I know what it's doing,
sure,
it's like, no, because I don't know. It makes it a lot harder. It makes it a lot harder to get the crappy things. It makes it a lot easier to say, no, I'm just going to skip that, because now I know what it's going to do inside of my body. And even though I can't see it, what's happening, I have the knowledge of what's going to happen now, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Coffee Walks and whatever is saying, just told one of my boys that our grocery bill is less since we changed the way we eat.
That's awesome.
So, there you go. Like you're right. There are ways of doing this without it being more expensive. Yeah. Because like you say, you wind up buying less, I think, overall. So
especially if you can have a way to like stretch it out, so like we get heavy whipping cream and Parmesan cheese and butter all the time. So just mixing those things together, not using all of it, but when I mix it, I can make a sauce out of it. And that is high fat and it's really filling. So just adding a spoonful of that to whatever meat we make, and everybody's full. So we, you just don't eat as much. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So Terry's saying, imagine a label that lists junk on the left and goodness on the right. Yeah. Well, that would be a pretty lopsided label, I think, on most of the stuff that's out there. So
yeah.
What's Carrie saying? When I buy and stick to just meat, eggs, and hot dogs, I found hot dog brand that's less than 1 carb in it. So, again, like that's the thing. Like everyone always bags on things like hot dogs and stuff like that. And I'm not going to sit here and say that they're, high quality ingredients most of the time, but they're still better than, Twinkies and, and Coke. Right. So
yes,
again, is it worth the cost?
Right.
Like, okay, if all I can afford is eggs, ground beef, and,
butter or something,
hot dogs or butter or whatever, even if that eats up all of my physical money and all that, well, then it's worth the cost, I think, because what you're paying for is your health, right?
Yeah.
So Oh, what else we got? I just want to make sure we don't skip anything. I saw Kevin from Tuber Chat came in. He shared out our live stream and then gifted a membership here too. So that's awesome. I think I can't remember who got that. Just got to go back over here. Oh, Crafty Witch 232 got the membership. Cool.
Nice.
And Jesse is in both chats now.
Aww.
We've got Keeping Up with the Griffins is saying hello. What else? When I was growing up, I had the cereal and stuff. The ingredients were different back in the day. Yep. And that's another thing too, is that when we were growing up, things, while they weren't, perfect, were a lot less, impactful, like a lot less sugar in that than they have these days.
Yeah. Or the ingredients were actually just what it was. So if it was like flour, sugar, whatever other stuff mixed in it, then that's just what it was. And now you have all these extra things where people, you don't even know, like, what is that? You just don't know what it is. And yeah, what you said about always being outside playing, we never see kids playing outside, like pretty much never. And when we were kids, that's all we did. Like, we'd get up, have breakfast, get dressed, all that good stuff, and then we were gone until the street lights came on, and then we came home. But we were out there running and riding our bikes and climbing trees and just moving, just not as active, it seems anyway. I don't know if that's what it's like everywhere, but we never see kids playing outside.
Yeah, I saw something online not too long ago, and this has been going on for a long time in Ontario, where we are, pretty much the capital of hockey, like the world capital of hockey here in Ontario. And most municipalities in Ontario have outlawed street hockey. So if kids are out on the street playing ball hockey, it's against regulations in these townships nowadays. It's like, okay, well, you're so busy telling kids to get out there and be more active, but then on the other hand, you're telling them to stay inside. I think there's a lot of things sort of working against what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, it's Matt and Mouse. We started cooking from scratch 5 to 6 nights per week so that we know what is in every meal. It's more effort, but more satisfying. In many cases, tastes better. Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It always tastes better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that is true. It's more effort, and you have to come up with different ideas more often, and because things wind up getting boring. Like, I'm kind of guilty of that here, unfortunately. Like, I'm personally fine with a straight boring ground beef and eggs and bacon and steak kind of diet, but
and I'm always trying to be like, what can I do? Playing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder what this would be like. I wonder what that would taste like. I think that mostly comes from, I just have fun, like, trying to get creative in the kitchen, but also because our whole family eats this way. So, like, I feel like I would be perfectly fine eating like you, Jason, where it's like, the same 5 or 6 things all the time, and then occasionally whatever. But with our kids' age range, gosh, their range now is from 10 to 18. And then my husband also. So I think that's another reason it kind of keeps me on my toes, trying to think of different foods that we see and then be like, how can I make this low carb, and just playing around. So yeah, it is more effort, but it can be super fun.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, what's Katie saying? The food manufacturers put sugar in nearly everything people eat to keep them coming back to buy their products. They did this after the food tree was changed to reduce fat. They had to find, assuming, a way to get people to buy products. Yeah, and the really nefarious part of that is once you figure out and once you find out who actually created that food pyramid was Mr. Kellogg's himself.
Shocker.
He's the one who came up with that food pyramid that told you to eat less fats and less meats and eat more cereals and grains.
I did
So
not know that.
it wasn't even a government health association initiative. This was entirely constructed by a food giant.
Wow.
And
And then it just got blasted everywhere. Now it's like on the walls in doctors'
right.
offices and
So
stuff.
that's exactly why we're in, one of the main reasons we're in the position we are right now is because of Kellogg's. So, and it's, it is all about money, basically. So,
And you try to make it as attractive as you can, like the boxes, bright colors, and cartoon characters. And now everything is you have icing that is cereal flavored, cakes that are cereal flavored. Everything is some type of cereal. And of course, all the kids are going to be like, I want to try it. I want to try it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I see Jody is in your chat there. Good to see you, Jody. Thanks for coming to hang out with us tonight. And then, yeah, Tuber chat member for 1 month. Cool. And then he gifted that membership as well. Thank you for doing that, Kevin. Definitely appreciated. What I was saying, we never heard of anyone that had a peanut allergy years ago. Yep.
Yeah.
It's that a lot of that comes down to trying to it is autoimmune driven kind of thing. So it is, again, it comes down to once we started demonizing saturated fat and saying, okay, well, instead of eating butter, eat margarine.
Yeah, because
instead
cholesterol and your blood pressure and all these different things. And it's like, when we eat more of that and less of the stuff that we're told we should be eating, we actually do way better.
Yeah, for sure. Doctor, I don't have one and I'm still trying to get my hernia taken care of through the VA. Had it for a year now. Yikes.
Oh,
yeah. Doctors are so tough to come by up here too. That's one of those things where, we have, we can I can go pretty much anywhere to get a dentist, but, because there's a million dentist office here in Ontario, but a lot of people can't get a family doctor here,
Jeez.
and, we're in this free healthcare country. Well, it comes at a cost, right?
Yeah.
Just like everything else, right? So, it's Crafty Witch saying, I developed an anaphylactic peanut allergy in my 20s. Yikes. That must be scary for sure.
One of our sons, it just came out of nowhere. I mean, he used to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time when he was little. And there was a day that he ate it and his whole face blew up.
Really?
Everything was it was like on hitch. But when you look at the ingredients, we noticed, I don't know if you've looked, when last time was you looked at the ingredients of peanut butter, but there are so many things in there. Like, why isn't it just like peanuts and salt? But
because that doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, because that's what the only kind of peanut butter I buy too is just natural peanut butter. And we all know that it doesn't really taste good.
Taste as good. I usually have to sprinkle a little bit of salt in mine. That definitely helps.
For sure.
But but
there's no way. Like if you have a kid, like a young person that's grown up on Jiffy peanut butter, there's no way you can get them to switch to a natural peanut butter, right?
Yeah, it's a process. So even things that we eat now, we kind of did it in phases. Our two youngest, they were the last ones to phase into the whole household being low carb. And things that they eat now, they're like, this tastes so good. This is way better than what we used to have. But when we very first started to eat this way, they're like, this tastes weird. It doesn't taste right, because they were so used to the crap. And now it's reversed, which is great. So when they eat something that's, the normal version of it, they're like, oh, this is too sweet, or this, I don't know, it tastes funny, or it makes my stomach hurt. So I'm like, okay, good. They're to the point now where the stuff that we used to eat, they don't like it. They don't like the way it makes them feel. They don't like the way it tastes. And It took some time, but it's worth it. It's worth the time and the effort and the slow process to get, the stuff swapped out for your family. It's so worth it, and it is doable with kids. I hear that a lot in videos that like, oh, I tried, to do carnivore. I tried to do keto, but I have a family, so when they're older, then I'll get back to it. And so it's like, why push your health off and theirs too? It's possible.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Carrie had a comment here I just wanted to read quickly, not to be political, and we don't want to sort of get into that here on the live stream, but I want RFK see if he can help. And hopefully, again, talk is talk right now. What I want to see is whether or not he actually follows through with what he's talking about, because what he's saying makes sense. What he's saying he's going to do would be a huge impact on the health of the country.
Yes.
Right. Not our country. Our country is just bat crap crazy still. But at least, in the United States, getting all of these seed oils out of things and getting these food dyes out of the food, or the dyes and all that out of the food. Like if they can accomplish that, then I think, that's a win for sure.
Yes.
Will it happen, and would it be long lasting? It's still to be seen.
It's so hard to know. I hope so, though. I hope that it does, because then I kind of feel like the things like Quest things that we very, very occasionally get. But the reason it's so occasional is because some of the ingredients are just not that good. But if this stuff starts to switch out, then it will be a good, like special treat option at the store versus making it at home or whatever. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens. I hope that it's good.
For sure. Carrie's saying, yeah, that's why I have to look at labels. When I started looking at labels and did research, yeah, it is insane, some of the stuff that's in foods these days. Like, why is it that something that should be 2 ingredients, why does it have 30?
Yeah.
Right? So
crazy.
And Low Carb Spin saying Bobby Parrish. So that's who you were talking about before. Yeah. I couldn't remember his last name. What's Beverly? Beverly is saying, after years of sugar addiction, I had lots of slip ups, even though I've been learning so much in the last 2 years. Need to just stay on track. And, you can pretty much, I would say that there's nobody out there that hasn't slipped up. That's just, I'm pretty strict. I don't stray from keto or ketovore very far, but I can't say that it's been 100% for the last 6 years. Right. All we can do is, each day, like I was saying in the tuber chat earlier today, we've still got 364 opportunities to do better this year. Yep. So do better tomorrow, do better the next day. And that's all we can really do as human beings. We just have to, it comes down to relationships, comes to food, comes to everything we do in life. So,
yep.
Make sure we're not missing anything, because I did see Mr. Pete dropped super chats in both of our channels, I believe so. And PJ's is saying we both have great recipes. Well, thank you for that.
I made bacon nacho type things for my dinner tonight, and I was like, dang it, I should have recorded this.
Yeah.
But I made bacon, I just broke it up into pieces, chip-sized pieces, I guess. And then made a cheese sauce real quick, poured it over the top. That was my dinner. And it was amazing. I'm very upset I didn't record it.
Yeah. I know. I hear you. I didn't get home late or anything, but usually it seems on Thursday nights when I do a live stream, I do frittatas those nights, because it's just a meal for me, basically. So
I still haven't tried that. It looks so good.
Ground beef, eggs, and then cheese or whatever. Tonight it was ground beef and then leftover ham, and eggs and 2 different kinds of cheese, and then I had some fermented mustard with it, and so
that sounds good.
Yeah. Carrie's saying all I can afford is eggs and hot dogs. I did get some bacon and coffee today, and that's, it is, I understand your situation, Carrie, and it is tough, but other people in your sort of situation may resort to, and I know Carrie has mentioned this in other live streams before about, because people sort of suggest, well, go to a food bank and stuff like that. The problem with that is that they don't usually offer things that fit into like a carnivore diet. It's and always going to be sugars and grains.
Yeah.
Basically.
And what you're doing is awesome. And I think it's just a really good way to show that even if you don't have much, because you started that out with all I can afford. All I can afford right now is eggs and hot dogs. And that is a way to show that you are still feeding yourself and eating with, whatever it is that you're able to get and still staying on that. Where years ago, what my mindset used to be when things were really, really tight was like, okay, I'm going to get bags of pasta and rice and like dried beans because it's really cheap and I can make cheap meals out of this. Well, you can make cheap meals with, hot dogs and eggs. We do that even like whether money is tight or not. I will fry up some hot dogs and scramble it with eggs or like slice the hot dog kind of in half and fry it to do like how you would do for hot dog sandwiches, and then just use a fried egg as the bread. Throw some ketchup and mustard in there or whatever. So, even with just eggs and hot dogs, it's saving money and you can still eat and be full and be healthy. And so I think that's awesome. Yeah.
I think Crafty Witch here is sort of commenting on our discussion about kids being outside playing. That's the way we were too. Yeah.
Go away. You're not allowed to come inside.
We were not to be in the house at all.
No, my mom used to be like, in or out. Stop opening and closing the door.
Yeah.
Air conditioning.
Unless you were bleeding.
It's like, just go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Back then with the street lights coming on. Yeah, for sure. And then so Terry's saying, scared to let the kids play outside. It's a different world now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking back and forth. Yes, Carrie, it is messed up that they don't want to let kids play road hockey. And again, it's all because it would have been because one kid got injured by a car. And that's all it took. And then they basically said, nope, no more playing in the streets. They don't even, a lot of municipalities won't even let you have like your own ice rink in your backyard. It's against the municipal rules. Yep.
At your own house?
Yeah. Because people complain about it because of the noise and stuff. Kids out there playing ice hockey at night and stuff. So
that is crazy.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. So Tampa's Creek Homestead and more is over on your chat. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to the live stream. I think we sort of started with the topic tonight and have slowly sort of basically just gone with the chat here, which is
I feel bad for talking so much because that's flowing down the chat. Sorry.
Let's see if we got anything else here. Nora's still here. It's all about the money. Absolutely. It's always been about the money, unfortunately. And now we've got, things that are, the pharmaceutical companies. The next thing you're going to see is the Ozempic craze is coming. And the impacts of that craze that are going to follow. I think a lot of people are going to realize that is going to be even worse than what's happened to our health.
It's mind-blowing ingredients because people look at the way that you eat and the way, I don't know, I'm sure you have gotten comments like this because I have, and you have way more views on your stuff where people are like heart attack, like, oh, just heart attack waiting to happen because, because you have butter or you have whatever. Eating the way that we eat and the health improvements, the like amazing health improvements. And people will say, you're going to have a heart attack, or you're going to have clogged arteries. You're going to have all these different things. But then they'll do the Ozempic stuff and be like, this is great.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes me sad because it's just like a lack of stopping to really look or even really think. I think a lot of it is the commercial makes it sound really, really good. The people on TV, on news and like talk shows and everything, they make these things sound so good and trendy. And then it's like, oh, I'm just going to believe it. Instead of like, I want to look into that for myself, or I don't know.
Yeah. It's also one of those things I can't really comment too much further on it because obviously we're not doctors or nurses or anything. So, but I'm just worried about that whole thing that's coming.
Yeah.
So, and you're right. It's the one saying that another one of these sayings that I've put out there so many times about, losing my thought here. Nobody ever says a word when you're eating, donuts and Starbucks coffees with 150 grams of sugar in it. Eat that all day long and nobody says a word, eat bacon and eggs and steak and butter, and everyone says you're going to die.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I know.
Yeah. So, Crafty Witch. Yes. Tired of chronic and unexplainable diseases for sure.
Yeah. I have a whole list of those things that I've been diagnosed with, and no doctor ever in all the years was like, try to stop eating sugar, try to cut back on carbs, try to do this. And, it was never like that. It was like, eat a lot of, Chex Mix and all, just eat salty snacks. So increase your salt, but it was like, eat salty snacks, crackers and all this. So my health was still just these huge billions of things that I've been diagnosed with. They never went away. They're still not even gone. And I've changed the way that I've eaten. It's so much better though.
Yeah. Chief's mixed bag is in the house. Good to see you. And what's Katie saying? Now we have obesity, diabetes, cancer galore, autoimmune issues, and now it's also getting into our animals. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. It's funny. I think Katie had another comment up here. If you go back before they changed the food pyramid, obesity was a lot less. It's funny, like you go, and I've seen there's videos. If you look back, there's videos of, a beach in California from the 70s. Yeah. And it's almost impossible to pick out anyone. And this is in thousands of people, anyone that's obese, even anyone that's overweight, and now if today you do the same sort of
it's
footage,
flipped.
It's flipped. So
like, hey, that person looks kind of fit. And instead of saying this is bad for your health, don't even completely remove the outside image, what makes people attractive, cut all of that crap out. It just, instead of saying that this is just not good for your health, for your organs, for your heart, for your bones, for your brain, it's not good for you. So let's, change things up so that you can be in better health. It's like, let's really try to say, let's make people feel really good about it. And I'm not saying that everyone who is obese or overweight should be walking around hating themselves. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
But to say that just from a health perspective, like the health part is so, it makes me want to cry when we're out and I see very obese, even like little kids. I'm not like, that person's big. It makes me sad because I'm like, just the health part of it and what it can lead to, or what they must be feeling all the time, like aches and pains all the time and feeling tired all the time. Like, but instead of saying, hey, let's do something to try to make, get you in better health, it's like, feel good about this. And, whatever positivity, I don't know the terms, but just saying something like that, I think people would be like, I actually have been called fat phobic. I'm like, what? My focus is so much on the health part. So many things are very frustrating.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about it, but I'll stop because I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, well, and you're right, dude. Like, and I think, unfortunately, is, we don't, I'm the same way. Like, I'm more concerned with people's health. That's all I really am concerned about, because it doesn't matter, anybody, like you don't know what anybody's going through.
Yeah.
It could be that they're trying to do better. You don't know one way or the other. So there's no way anybody should be judging anybody, regardless of, what kind of lifestyle they lead. Right. So all we can do is lead by example, and, hope that people hear, and I look through the comments tonight here. There's enough people here that aren't necessarily, they're not part of the keto, low carb, carnivore community, but they see the reality as well. They know what kind of, bad stuff's in our food. And, so honestly, I think, and I feel like coming up on 4 years on YouTube, over those 4 years, things have started to somewhat, shift. I would think that more and more people are starting to realize that we have to think about these things.
Yeah.
So, super sticker from Mr. Pete over here.
Aww.
Thank you so much, Pete, and thank you for the super sticker on Kendra's channel too. You are an awesome supporter of these channels for sure. If anyone doesn't know Scratch and Pete, well, yeah,
that would be amazing. That would be like shocking.
I don't think I knew Kellogg's came up with food pyramid. It's crazy. We accepted it and ran with it. Yes. And that was the problem, is that Kellogg's was lobbying the government for subsidies, right? So he had a product that he needed to sell, and the government was willing to subsidize him so that he could make more money off of it. So then again, he needed to try and figure out a way to sell more of it. And
boy, did that work.
Yeah, for sure. Someone else, Florida e-bikes and gear.
Hi.
Hello, happy New Year. Good night.
Oh, you're still here. Good night.
Yeah. After a bout of cancer, I talked to my doctor about plant-based diets or juicing and was told it wouldn't be sustainable. Yeah. And that's, I think one of the things about sustainability comes down to whether or not you can be satisfied with what you're eating, because I can't remember who talked about it. Where was I watching? I can't remember who I was watching, but the analogy that they give is that if we, sat you down and fed you a big 16, 18 ounce ribeye for dinner, like the biggest ribeye you could eat, and by the time you were done, you were completely stuffed. You're like, oh, I can't eat another thing. If I was to say, okay, well, here's another small steak. Do you want to have that afterwards? You'd be like, no, I can't eat another thing. But then if I offer you a piece of pie, 9 out of 10 people will be, oh yeah, I can eat that. So I think it's a matter of trying to be a lot more consistent with what you eat first.
Yeah.
And again, it's not, carbs aren't bad for everybody. But I think it's what we put with it a lot of times that make it make it worse for us. So
yeah.
Great job from Mr.
Yay.
Pete. Thank you, Pete.
That thing you just said reminds me of my kids when they'd be like, I'm so full, and be like, okay, no dessert. Well, no, I'm full for this. I'm not full for dessert. Like, okay.
Right. And that's the other thing too. Like a lot of people in this space will say, like, if you prioritize the healthy saturated fats and the protein first, then you're going to be less likely to be hungry for the starches and the grains and the carbs and everything that come afterwards, and the sugars. So that's what makes it easier. And that's the only way that you can make a lifestyle like this sustainable. So crazy. I think we've both been talking a lot tonight.
I feel like I just talk way too much. This is fun though. I feel better now. I feel less nervous now.
Yeah. Well, like I say, once you start having a conversation, that's all it takes. Matt and Mouse, we never gave our kids carbonated soda. They tried some at age 7 and 8 at a friend's birthday party. Why does this drink hurt my mouth? No doubt. Yeah. It's funny. One of my grandsons, he's, for the most part, like, he doesn't like sodas at all. He won't drink. Well, I shouldn't say he doesn't like sodas. He doesn't like things like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and stuff like that. He'll drink like iced tea and stuff like that, which, whatever. But he eats a lot of fruit and vegetables, which is good, and he likes eating meat. The kid loves eating salmon. Like, he's 7 years old and he just loves salmon. So, but then my other grandson, the younger grandson, he'll eat anything. You put it in front of it, and he's gonna eat it. So
kids are so funny.
Yeah, so many people eat processed foods on a regular basis. We do eat them, but in moderation. Yeah. Thanks for that, Henry. I'm glad you enjoyed the conversation. I keep looking at my video from this live stream, and on StreamYard it looks okay, but on the live stream it looks all crappy. So I apologize.
Are you using the OBS thing? Oh wait, never mind.
No,
we're on StreamYard.
It's StreamYard. It's my camera. I'm using my DSLR camera tonight. So.
I told you the slowness was real. But I tried to use the wet blanket thing in that email and say, at least I'm not a wet blanket about it. I think I used it right.
Yeah. It's always coffee time. Yeah. I think I'm almost out of coffee here.
I tried to make whipped coffee today, also playing around in the kitchen. It didn't work. I think I put too much coffee in it, so it didn't turn into whip. I wanted it to be kind of like coffee Cool Whip, but it kind of frothed a little bit, so I just drank it. It was good. Yeah. It just didn't do what I wanted it to.
And Corinne's here. Good to see you, Corinne. Yeah, like the sweater. This was done by Corinne's Life. She made up the logo, and I bought some shirts and a sweatshirt from her. My grandkids love the Chaffle characters on this sweater.
So. One of our sons, those Chaffle characters are his absolute favorite. He loves those specific ones. Any of the other ones, he's like, what happened to them? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they don't look the same. He just loves those ones.
Yeah. Corinne is saying, going to be starting keto again for the 10 millionth time starting Monday. Well, there you go. Like I say, we all have the opportunity to start a new day, and it's one of those things where, I don't know, personally, I found and this is just from my personal experience, is that when I make a decision to make a change like this, it has to come from up here first, and then I do the actual changing of what I put in my mouth, right? If you don't sort of come up with that why, and come up with, the focus in your mind first, I think it makes it really difficult to switch and to stick to it.
Yeah, mindset is so big. Like, even your mindset of, just like what you were talking about a few videos back, where you were talking about, like, just throw the word diet out of your head. Because really, if you think of the word diet is just the way that we eat. But the way that all of us, have, it's all been made to be is a temporary thing. Like, oh, I'm going on a diet before vacation. I'm going on a diet, and it's such a temporary thing. So having the mindset of, this is just the way that I eat, and it's just always, not only when I'm at home, not like, because some people are like, well, when I'm out, I eat like everybody else because I'm out. So I want to eat like everybody else. Like, this is just the way that I eat, and just having that. And then also having it, I guess, pace wise, doing it whatever works best for each of us individually. Like I need to take this one meal at a time, or a day at a time, or 1 week at a time, however you need to do it, but to stick with it. Cause I think sometimes it just seems overwhelming for people. Like all of a sudden I have to change the whole entire way that I've been eating my whole life, but if it's like, okay, well today, or for this meal, I'm keeping it low carb. And then my next meal, I'll keep it low carb, and just do it like bits at a time if you have to. But yeah, finding your own way that works for each of us individually to stick with it is super important. Hi, Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy's here. Yeah, no, I agree. You have to. And again, I've tried to sort of make this point before too, is that, there's so much noise out there in this community. Like you could sit down and you could watch different, keto, low carb, carnivore channel. You could watch a different one, every hour for a week, and everybody's going to have their own opinion about how to do things. At the end of the day, you need to figure out how you're going to do it, because that's the only thing that's going to work. Not how I do it, not how Kendra does it, how you do it. Figure out how you can make it so that you're happy, because if you're miserable, nothing's going to work. It's just never, that's just, unfortunately, that's a reality with it. So yes. Okay. Let me see if I can get through some of these comments here. Everyone's saying hi. Kenneth was in the house as well.
Hey, Chris. And things are going to change. So if you find what works for you and I find what works for me, like what worked for me 2 years ago is not what I eat like at all today, because we're learning our own selves. We're trying these different foods and learning our limits. What makes me feel okay, I can eat a whole bunch of ground beef, or I can eat this huge steak and I feel perfectly fine. But if I add too much avocado to it, or if I have something with some almond flour in it, it's too much, So stuff that might have worked for us, it's so good to keep it. What's your level of low carb? I think low carb and low sugar for everybody across the board is good. It's just finding our levels of low carb and sugar for our health and our whatever that is good. Important.
For sure.
Sorry.
Absolutely. And this comment here is sort of what we're talking about. One thing I've learned, and it's taken a long time to learn it, my weight is driven by something entirely different. And when I was keto and increased calories, I was losing weight.
Yeah.
And I had the same experience, for almost a year, I think in like year 3 of when I was doing keto, I was sort of sticking to a 1 meal a day. And I wasn't eating a proper full meal every day kind of thing. It wasn't until I started eating more often and getting more protein and more calories in my day, that's when I actually started losing weight.
I wonder if the reason why it's so hard is because for so many years we're told low calorie, low fat, cut this and eat whatever. And then when we start eating the way that we're eating now, we're going against. It just is hard to adjust to. Like, I'm eating way more. I'm eating a lot of fat, not eating a ton of vegetables and fruits and rice and whatever, like I've been told to eat. And it is kind of like, there's almost like a fear inside sometimes, like just fear of the unknown. I'm going to eat this stuff that for years I've been told is going to like make me drop dead or make me fat and all these scary things. And yeah.
Absolutely. And this is something I can relate to. I feel so much better now, and now I have to buy smaller pants. 8 weeks
That's
in.
awesome.
Well, there you go. So you're 8 weeks in now. So you're getting pretty close to being fully what they call fat adapted if you're eating low carb. So your body is getting more efficient at creating ketones using the fat that you have stored on your body. So this is when you can really start to see some results in your efforts.
I love that. I'm sorry, Jason, I talk so much. This stuff, this gets me so excited and pumped up. Not because it's like, oh, you lost weight, so you look I'm not even anything about the outward look, but just knowing that if you have to buy smaller pants, that means that you have less like excess and visceral fat around your organs, which means they're more free to do what they need to do and operate the way that they need to operate.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels so good. Like you can feel it on the inside. You can see it on the outside. Yeah. And then all the other things like clearer skin, and everything feels so much better. I am super excited for you. I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. What's Kaiser Gaming? I think it's that if you eat sugar after the steak, the glucose spike will make you want to keep eating. Yeah, it can do that. And the other thing too is if you eat a regular, piece of protein like a steak or especially like a ribeye that is higher in saturated fats, what winds up happening if you follow it up with the sugar is that the insulin is going to spike, and then that's going to take all the fat from that steak and it's going to push it away so that it can get rid of the sugar.
Then then you don't have that satisfied feeling anymore.
Right.
Yes.
And your body is saying, hey, let's put this fat away for later. I'll just use the sugar to make energy, right? Because that's the thing is our bodies can use sugar more efficiently than it can use fat for energy. So that's why we're always, and it comes right down to it because, I reference things like baked potatoes all the time about stuff like this. The baked potato by itself with nothing on it, not a terrible food. It's a whole food. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem comes when you're putting butter and sour cream and bacon and all this cheese and everything on top of it. So you've got a big portion of carbohydrates because that's all potato is 100% carbohydrates, a little bit of fiber, but not much. And you're adding all of this fat to it. So unfortunately, our bodies are more efficient at burning off those carbs than they are on the fat. So it prioritizes them and puts the fats aside for later. So it's just the way I kind of like to sort of project it.
It's so nice. It's so much easier to have like an image. All this brings me back to all the way that I think about fuel. Like the potato is the cheaper gas at the gas station, and the steak is like the premium fuel that you run so much better off of that.
Yeah. Jesse's saying she can understand though. She never liked carbonation. Yeah. I'm a carbonation. I love it. That's one of the problems that I have. I love carbonation. So that's why you wind up getting the Zevias all the time. So.
Oh yeah. I should try those. I never liked soda when I was a kid either, but I did eat a lot of food. Like I was a chunk when I was a kid. I ate a lot and a lot of not very good things. Shut up.
Yeah. Brenda, a fellow I work with has a family history of strokes. His mother, he was so low fat and low red meat, same age as me. He had cardiovascular scan. I was perfect. He had buildup in his neck. Yeah. It's the scary.
Family history thing is funny too, because and good grief, I filled out a bajillion of these things. I've been having all these medical problems since I was in middle school. So asking about your family history, and it's like, they look at that, the doctors, and it's like, well, you're at higher risk of diabetes and high blood pressure and all these different things because of your family. Now I know that's so much crap. Like, if I eat the way that I eat now and my family member keeps eating the crap that they're eating, I'm not going to have their diabetes and their high blood pressure because I'm not eating like they are. So everything is different. Anyway, I can go on about that.
Well, and again, I don't want to. Some of these topics, you think about them, and I think to myself about them, and I wonder, should I really say that? But here goes.
Say it.
Things like diabetes, like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, those things in themselves don't run in families. Lifestyles run in families, and genetics will load the gun, but your diet will pull the trigger. That is,
oh yeah, that's a good way to say
that's
that.
the reality. If all it takes is for you to change the lifestyle that you were brought up in to get out of that sort of thing running in your family. So.
Yeah, my dad's side of the family is a perfect example of that. His brothers, his sister, and parents, they all eat exactly the same. He is the only one who's not overweight. He's the only one who does not have diabetes. He doesn't have high blood pressure. He doesn't have any type of heart disease. They all have like the exact same medical problems. And it's all like, well, it runs in the family. He's like, no, he's very active. He golfs a lot. He walks a lot. He eats low sugar. He drinks a lot of water, all these different things. He doesn't have any of those medical problems. So yeah, perfect example of that.
Corinne saying I've done it before and lost almost 40 pounds, and then the C started and I stopped. I hate saying diet. It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of mentality you need for sure. My cholesterol, not that it matters, went from 299 to 199. Doctor asked, "You still keto?" I said yes, but didn't tell her about the water. Oh, that's funny. Together we travel. Your thoughts on cauliflower sandwich thins? I don't think I've ever had them, and I definitely wouldn't be against things like that. The only thing you have to watch is that a lot of times they may be sort of advertised as cauliflower wraps or something, but usually they're mostly flour.
Yeah. Cauliflower crust, they just happen to throw some cauliflower in with the regular crust.
Yeah. If you're looking for something like that, I would suggest looking for things like the egg thins. They're like a wrap made out of eggs, Egg Life or something like that. So personally, it's not anything I ever bother using. If I want bread, I whip out the Dash Minis and I make chaffles, and that's it. So, I love using cauliflower in my vegetable stir fries. Yep, for sure. Cauliflower is good. Kind of did the same thing with having to cut out gluten. Yeah, I did that long before I went keto. That's tough too. But then you're focusing more on things like rice and potatoes, which at the end of the day isn't much better for you. So
when you do gluten-free stuff, is that almost the same as I guess, trap that people can fall into where it's like keto friendly? Because I know I see a lot of stuff in the store that says gluten-free. But is it still like, if you see something that says gluten-free, it's like, oh, this is good, but it's actually still crap? Or
you still have to be aware of the ingredients that it's made with. Technically, it's a little bit more regulated because gluten is a diagnosed sort of allergy or autoimmune condition. Like celiac disease can be really really harmful to people. So it's a little more strict, I would say, kind of thing. But Lady Fritz Aiders here. Good to see how people's happy National Carnivore Month.
Hello.
Yes. January is National Carnivore Month. So yeah.
Seems like I should know something like that, but I don't.
Yeah, it's not something I would ever participate in, but there's a lot of people using January sort of as a reset kind of thing. So Brenda has enjoyed our topic. Thank you, Brenda.
Yay.
Got to meet Brenda at Ketopalooza this year. That was fun.
That's awesome.
Create and Relate is here. Thanks for coming by. Just want to make sure we get through all of these here. Two different doctors told me that my one meal a day is the main reason no weight comes off, that I had to increase calories. I wasn't on board with keto, but he agreed. He wasn't on board with keto, but agreed that if it works, then who is he to stop me? Yeah. And absolutely, like that's the whole thing. If a doctor says, well, you should stop doing keto, and I say, well, I lost 80 pounds. Why should I stop?
Yeah.
Then usually they change their mind, but yeah. just want to make sure we're not missing anything. Fever Dream Animations here. Another tuber chat friend. Thanks for coming in. Brendan's saying, I've not tried Zevia. What's your favorite flavor? To be honest with you, I like the grape Zevia. I know it's kind of weird, but I like the grape flavor. So that's what I go with. But again, it's one of those things too, where, and with the whole thing that's happened with Element this year and their natural flavors debacle and all that, and sort of kind of makes me more aware of the trappings of natural flavors as well, because you just never know what's in those natural flavors. So it could just be crap.
I don't even know where it came from. The whole monkey butt juice. Now every time our kids see natural flavors and ingredients, they're like, "No, monkey butt juice." I'm like, whatever. If that's what's gonna keep you from eating that stuff, then sure.
For sure. I love having access to wild salmon where I live. That would be cool. Everyone on my paternal side died young. All of them but one died from heart disease. One died from colon cancer. My father was 54 when he died, or 56 when he died. All because he wouldn't change how he ate. Yeah, for sure. Corinne is saying egg thins are bomb. Okay, well, there you go. You can actually make them yourself too. There's a few recipes out there to make your own egg thins as well.
I wonder if it would be easy. Like, I wonder if it's as simple as just like eggs and maybe xanthan gum or some.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pretty simple. So.
Oh, I want to try it.
Yeah. Have to buy another waffle maker. Mark dropped ours by mistake in the sink. Oh no. And it was my big one. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh crap.
So, yeah. I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of jealous. We bought. Or my stepdaughter, we bought them the Dash multi-maker. So it's the same size as a Dash Mini, the 4-inch waffle iron, but it's got the changeable plates. So you can pull the plates out.
Oh, nice.
You can put the plates in the dishwasher and everything, so you don't have to scrub the stupid waffle iron. Plus you can get all sorts of different designs like hearts and stars and dinosaurs and all this stuff for the kids and stuff. So
for the kids, I'd want it too. I'd be like, "Oh, let's do these ones."
Yeah. Great. After my last question about doing ketos, I'm vegetarian. I said it would be difficult or impossible. Yeah, and again, I don't think it's something that's impossible. It's just one of those things where you'd have to be very, aware of how you're feeling. Because the last thing you want to do is, be undernourished, doing any kind of diet or lifestyle. So, and again, there's been people out there say that it is possible to do a vegetarian keto diet. So, like I say, I'm not one to ever say never. It's, because people have made things work. If you told me 10 years ago that people have lived for 20 years without eating any vegetables and they're just eating meat, then I'd be saying they're crazy too. But
yeah, I used to eat salads like crazy. I made salad out of everything, and you have it in your head. What's the most nutrient dense foods? And my first thing popped in my head would be vegetables. Vegetables are the most nutrient dense. I think it's just a lot of learning and applying.
Yeah.
And learning and applying and see how does this make me feel. And then also having an understanding that while you're switching things up, it might not feel amazing right at first because your body has a lot of adjusting to do. So knowing that if you feel like maybe not so good in the first week or two, to stick with it just to see. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I switched. I took out all the carbs and I felt really sick. I was throwing up. I feel terrible. It's not good for me. I'm going back to the way I used to eat. And it's like, sometimes we have to push past that. It's kind of like when you very, very first start working out. It hurts. You're sore. You're like, you can barely stand up because you're not used to it yet. Your body is adjusting and building and breaking down and building back up and all this. So sticking with it and being patient and, like Jason said, being aware of your body and all that kind of stuff, super helpful. Sorry.
No. Crafty Witch has a mini Baby Yoda waffle maker. I think you can buy the Baby Yoda plates for the Dash Mini. I haven't seen them physically, but crazy. Matt and Mouse had to head out. Thank you for coming in.
Aww.
It was good to see everyone tonight. Oh, Ashley's here. Good to see you. Shades of Gray, another very sort of motivated
Ashley.
creator out there.
Hi.
She's over on your live stream there. Katie's saying they want a pterodactyl chaffle. That would be interesting for sure. I think I missed someone else. Big Family Expedition is here. Yes, there they are. Thank you for coming in. I wish I could get a chaffle maker over here where I live. You can get them off Amazon if you have Amazon. They're usually available through Amazon. I get them from Walmart. They're right on the shelf now, so I don't know. I keep feeling that with the ones that I've bought to get for giveaways, I probably bought more Dash Minis in this city than anyone else has. So
thank you so much again, Pete, for the little because now that we are shipping things out with our online store that we have, and we weigh stuff and then see how much it costs to ship it. My appreciation went like multiplied for the chaffle thing that you sent, because I'm like, that had to be so expensive to send.
No, it wasn't actually too bad, but it's shipping stuff like that is definitely it's tough for sure. But I'm glad you guys are getting good use out of it. Like when you want it, at least like your kids are enjoying it too. So, and it gives you the chance to try it out, and if you want to get more, then it's something that's going to work for your family, right? Yeah,
I'm ready to get some more for the kids, and then buy your cookbook that you're going to have.
I'm right now I'm sort of trying to figure out because I went through and documented all of my chaffle recipe videos kind of thing, and taking out some of the ones like Willet chaffles and like just the kind of gimmicky things. I've come up with 82 different recipes. So I think I'm gonna limit the first volume of the cookbook to 50 of them. I'll pick out 50 of them, and it's going to be an ebook. It's not going to be a printed book, which ultimately I don't think is going to matter too much, but that's where I'm going with it now. Yeah, I'm just every day I'm doing a little bit of it. I'm just making it all in Canva, and we'll see how it turns out. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited. Tiffany is here. I think Tiffany's been around for most of the live stream, so it's good to see you, Tiffany. They don't sell them in Greenland. Oh, well, if I could ship you one, I would, but I don't know that would be very affordable. So, and we're down to the bottom of the chat. Have I tried the unsalted? Have you tried insalted? I don't think I have. That's a different product. I'll have to, let me just type that in, see it. Insalted, sugar-free. I have not tried it, Kevin, but I will take a look at that for sure. Looks like, just looking at it here, 900 milligrams of sodium, 300 milligrams of potassium, 100 milligrams of magnesium per stick. Not too bad. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that, Kevin. Thanks for letting me know. I hadn't heard anything about that, but if it's something that's available in Canada, I would definitely be interested in finding out. So, because I, in no certain terms, told Element where to stick their subscription for now. So I won't be buying anything from them until they make good on, not that I I still have some of their product and I don't mind using it. What I don't like is the way they're treating it, and they have no intention of fixing the mistake they made. So
yeah,
if that's the way they want to go with it, then that's fine by me. So let's get down to this last couple. If I could just have potatoes on keto. There you go. I hear you. You should go. I have a recommendation. Just take some time. Go check out Chris Cooking Nashville. He has got some really amazing recipes that replace things like noodles. His last recipe was carnivore potato chips. I haven't watched it, so I don't know how he did it. But this guy comes up with some really amazing replacements for some of the stuff that we like to eat. So
is that the guy who does the mashed potatoes, but you start with eggs and then you put it in the blender and like slowly add? Yeah. I haven't tried that, but I bet it tastes really good. Yeah. He's a wizard. That guy is just crazy. But yeah, check it out. Chris Cooking Nashville. I don't know if I can find his channel here. It was funny. He was one of those channel that when I first found him, he was a really small channel, but then he had a couple of videos that went like completely viral. Now he's a verified channel with 114,000 subscribers. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And he's a good guy too. Another guy I met at Keto Palooza this year. So
it'd be so cool to go to that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're not going to have Keto Palooza next year. But hopefully it'll be back at some point. So yeah, I dropped the link there. So all right, let's get through these last couple. Cindy made the chips, said they were amazing. Cool. I saw something from Kevin. I started drinking Element because now I drink 100. So now you're drinking more water. So that's good. It's all good. So one sad thing about Element is that if it is still a far, far, far better option than 90%. Absolutely. And again, that's why I say that I don't have anything against their product necessarily. My problem is with their, the way that they know that they made a mistake, but they don't want to own up to it. And all they're doing is using their paid advertisers, like their creators on YouTube that are, sponsored. They're just using them to try and blow it off as if it's no big deal. So that's where I draw the line with them. So
yeah, not the best way to.
Thanks, Chris. Cooking Nashville. I really don't feel like I'm missing much. Anything eating this way. Chris has the best recipes. Yep, for sure. Okay, we're at the bottom of the chat. So I don't know if you have any other thoughts you want to add, Kendra, and then we can start wrapping things up.
I don't think so. I'm sure if I start thinking of something to talk about, then we'll be here forever because I'll start talking a whole bunch again. So
yeah, I hear you. So okay, well, yeah, we went 90 minutes tonight. So I hope everyone enjoyed the chat tonight. We had a good portion with what we came here to talk about. Always be thinking about whether something is worth the cost, whether it's food, whether it's just life in general. So always something to be thinking about. So okay, well, we'll sign off for tonight, and we'll have to do this again at some point, and once we come up with another topic to talk about for 90 minutes. So, yeah. Okay, guys, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye now.